Hey, welcome back, Indiana Sports Speed Radio on this Monday. Todd Leary with us from myjumpshot.com. We're waiting for Don Fischer actually to join us, and look forward to having him on unless he's getting a link problem. But there he is, popping on now. But Todd,
look at that guy. Look who's here.
Surprise, surprise.
The little passing of the torch, Don, and John was so broken up that and people, this is your last chance to look at that lovely mug of Don Fischer's until next.
What are you talking about?
Fall.
What are you just filling time here? What are you doing? That lovely mug. You got to be kidding me.
It's pretty cute. It's pretty cute.
There you go. Hey, well, you know what? Well, Todd once told you he loved you on air, so there's that.
I know. And he does. He loves me.
And I 100% do.
But you know what? I know you end up getting I had to write a letter over that one, but that was still, that's great. That is really great though. It's iconic. It is truly an iconic moment.
You want to know the best part of everything I saw yesterday was I saw Robbie Hummel doing a radio on the sidelines of the Purdue game, and he was crying like a baby. and so now finally I can. And Robbie Hummel, I think, is one of the best announcers on TV.
You're right.
And to see him lose his emotions a little bit like that, honestly, I felt a little relief on my end.
I'll tell you what. I mean, Hummel, you're right. I've seen him. He's doing more games than just about anybody in the country, I think, because he is in demand. That's how good he is. Yeah, people want him on their broadcasts.
Oh, I was thinking. I think I'm not gonna. I don't have the ability to go back and count all these, but I'm guessing he might have done more TV games this year than anybody. He was doing 4 or 5 games a week.
Well, at one point I think I watched it, and he did a Fox game, an ESPN game, a Big Ten Network game, all in the same week, and I'm sitting there going, I mean, they want literally. He does. You don't have to worry about whether it's an IU game or Purdue game or Joe Schmo, because he does his research. He knows everything about both teams and coaches and everyone involved, and then he's very impartial. Like, he just calls the game the way it is. Like, he's my favorite announcer to listen to.
I agree.
Well, that's nothing, Todd. I turned on one day, I was watching a game, and then I flipped it over, and he was doing both of them.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, Don Fischer joining us now, and I haven't broke the news to the fans, but it's Don takes off for a retreat from now until the fall, and goes and sits into a teepee out somewhere out west and regathers everything after an exhausting season of broadcasting games, sometimes 3 days in a row doing stuff. But looking forward to I know what you're looking forward to. And yesterday was a nice day to start that, man. Yesterday was beautiful out. Happy Easter to everybody, by the way. How was your weekend, Don?
Well, it was good. It was good in the sense that I went to football practice on Saturday, because I've been to all 5 football practices. I think it's 5 at this point that they've had. So I had a chance to do that on Saturday. I did not play golf. I wanted to play golf. I did try to hit balls, and when I did hit balls, I was hitting them so badly I decided to quit. And maybe I'm going to take up tennis. I don't know, because my golf game just stinks right now.
At your age, pickleball is the thing you got to go for.
No, I'm not going to that. My brother tore his Achilles playing pickleball, and he won't tell anybody that, because he did. He was playing pickleball, and he tore his Achilles, and he went, "I'm not telling anybody I play pickleball." So I'm out. I can't play pickleball. I got to figure out something. Maybe I'll play croquet or some crap. So who knows?
There is nothing that scares me more than every now and then feeling a twinge down in that Achilles area. Every time I do, I just stop what I'm doing. I'm like, nope. Whatever that is, I don't want that to happen.
Every golfer knows the more you say you're going to quit means the more rounds you're going to play this year.
I know. But it's so frustrating.
I understand.
You get, I literally, I don't know when this was, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I got down to a 3 handicap, and I'm thinking, man, I'm really a good player. And ever since I was at that 3, it's just gone. And it's just been terrible. I'm up to like an 8 or a 9 handicap now, and it's so frustrating. It really is.
Well, we're all playing that misery violin for you now, that 8 or 9 handicap.
Just kiss off.
Hey, you know who's become a really good golfer is our friend Mitchell Page.
Oh, I know Mitchell, but here's the thing you got to know about Mitchell. We played together on two different occasions. We have had a competition. I beat him both times.
Oh, baby! I will remind him of that. I cannot wait.
He won't admit that I beat him the last time, but I did. At any rate, we played at Sawgrass, at TPC Sawgrass. You know,
oh wow!
When we were down there for the Gator Bowl, and I shot 89 and he shot 90.
What'd you do on 17? What'd you do on 17?
I hit my ball in that little bunker in the front of the green there, and chipped it out and got it up there close enough to 2-putt for a 4. So I made 4.
So you made birdie? You made birdie?
No, Well, here's the thing. On 16, he knocked it in the water twice.
Ooh. So that's how you got him? Yeah.
I got him.
He pulled out the tin cup. I could get it there.
Yeah, he is a fun guy to play with, though. I'm telling you, he's a lot of fun to play with. He's become a really good player. I think he's probably a 1 or 2 handicap, probably. He's good. How about you, Toddy? What are you at now, bud?
You know, I don't keep score anymore. You know, I just count how many birdies I can make it around, because there's always 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 doubles and out of bounds balls. So now I just try to see how many birdies I can make it around.
Well, I understand that. Just play for skins, right?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
Only
Don, the offseason has started for IU basketball, which means recruiting, and they have filled that spot that was opened up by Liam McNeely with the signing of Bryson Tucker, a 5-star wing, and several guys in the portal. You can tell that this year, after taking a lot of heat, because last year their recruiting was it seemed to have too much tunnel vision. All their eggs were in one basket. They would go after a guy, which going after someone like Dalton Connect, you can see why if you watched the game yesterday. Yeah. He's a monster, just an absolute game changer. But they are casting a much, much wider net this time around, and a lot of guards in that play. But guys like Leland Walker, who played from at Warren Central, and it was at EKU. He's in the portal, and he's supposed to visit today, as a matter of fact, but I think he changed that visit. But and several other guys, Tony Perkins. But there's just the net is much wider this year for Indiana's recruiting.
Well, here's the thing. The good news is that Malik Renew's going to be back. Mbako's coming back. Mbako's got to learn how to play defense. But other than that, I mean, I think he could upgrade himself pretty dramatically with a good summer of work if he learns to play defense, because I think he's a talented kid. Don't you think he's got the shot. He's got a really good looking shot. Does he not, Todd?
Oh my, it's one of the most beautiful. I tell this story all the time, but last year, the very first shot I ever saw him take, I walked in the summer practice and I walked in the gym and he took a shot from the corner right there when you come out of that tunnel right there. And he took a shot and I just stopped and walked over to Calvert, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's one of the most effortless, beautiful shots. Like it's a great looking shot. Like there isn't anything on him that you need to try to change other than what's between here. Right.
Exactly. I mean, he's a talented kid. There's no question. So at least you got a nucleus of guys to work with Galloway, and Anthony Leal is I think he can help them, but he's still not a starter type guy. Anthony's got to come off the bench, and he's got to be more consistent with his shooting and got to look for his shot a little bit more too, because he can shoot the basketball when he gets it going. But they've got to find other guys in this portal. They're going to have to not get another big man, without question, somebody else that can help inside. They've got to find that. They've got to get another point guard, somebody that is really quick, athletic, understands how to play the game. If the Walker kid's that kid, that's fine. But if you've watched this tournament, every single one of these teams has a point guard that flat out runs the show. Every single one of them, and they've got it. That's something they've got to have. And I think Gabe Cupps is a good kid, and he's a really good player in many respects, but he's not that guy right now. They've got to find somebody right now that is that good if they're going to be any good next year, I think. And then they've got to fill in the other, guys in those other roles, and because they got 6 scholarships available, so they can get some people if they can get it done. But to me, right now, it's all about who they get out of the transfer portal, and if they can find the right guys and put the pieces together, I think they could be a respectable team next year.
Todd, I think that the portal is where they're probably going to look mainly for these the 2024 class. I don't know. They didn't have a lot of treadway there. And as a matter of fact, the 2025 class in the state of Indiana is massive with talent. So I'm assuming that they're going to try to fill more with the portal guys, because you get experience. And guys like Jack Steph Golke are out there. There are so many guys that are playing this game that are at schools that you've never heard of, but it's the development, their body's development. It's amazing. It's why people think that, well, he should stay another year. And there's a lot of times there's a lot of truth to that because of what you're able to learn, whether it's defensive or just physical growth, whatever the case may be. But there's a reason why these guys were unheralded, and then they move up and they play for a mid-level, mid-major, and then boom, next thing you know, Dalton Connect or Lance Jones or those guys are on the big stage.
Yeah, well, you can just watch the games this weekend, and you take the Final Four teams, but you could take the Sweet 16 and look at almost all of those teams had at least one guy that was a very important part of what they're doing and where they're getting to that is from the portal, and that is it doesn't even necessarily have to be from a lesser team or whatever. I think Dalton Connect is probably the example I would use for Mbako more than anyone, because if you followed him throughout the entire year, and I followed him from day one at Tennessee, and the big knock on him was he didn't play defense. He didn't understand how to play defense. And Rick Barnes is a defensive guy, and that was part of the reason why he chose Tennessee. And there were some early parts in especially, I know they lost to Ohio State early in the year. And Rick Barnes was extremely frustrated with Dalton Connect and his lack of ability to pick up the defensive philosophies and what they were trying to do. And then you can also see like what that transformed into in just one season, and how he became not just a great, probably the best offensive all-around player in the country, but a really good piece of their defense. I watched him yesterday defensively. He was really he improved more defensively than he did offensively throughout the season, and that's saying a lot. And so I think the ability to do that is there. I think Mbako has that capability of doing that. Dalton Connect's grown up a scorer his whole life. Defense has been on the back burner, and I think Mbako can do that. But from the overall portal perspective, I mean, we're all learning it as it happens every year. But I am excited or interested to see like what happens in the next few days with even teams that played this weekend in the Sweet 16. I think there's going to be a lot of underclassmen on teams just trying to see what they're worth out there, and we'll see guys leaving teams that are in pretty good situations, but the money's better somewhere else, and they might see the opportunity to come to an Indiana or go to a Purdue or go somewhere where the NIL money is just different. And lucky for us as Indiana fans and people that, we're one of the schools that has, we've got football type NIL money when it comes to basketball. And that's a good place to be in this portal situation.
Don, to get back to your point, Houston loses Jamal Sheed in that game against Duke, and that just pretty much, and they still fought well, but were not able to overcome that loss and their floor leader. And we could be, looking at Houston in the Final Four. Instead, they lose to Duke, who lost to North Carolina State. But Houston, their offense was predicated on those guards, and boy, that was just a gigantic loss.
Well, here's what I will tell you. I think it's going to be King Kong against Godzilla in the championship game because Connecticut is better than anybody that's played at this point during the tournament. I mean, they're blowing people away. It's not even close in most of those ball games. And I think Purdue is a basketball team that at this juncture is playing. They're probably playing as good as they can play at this point. And so I just think it's going to be those two teams. Now, you can't say that North Carolina State couldn't finally get a way to get it done because Seriously. They are amazing. They are won 9 straight games now. And what they did in the ACC tournament was just incredible, in my opinion. You win 5 games in 5 days against that competition with guys having buys for, they only played 3 games at that point. I mean, what they've done at this point is just incredible. So you cannot discount that team. I mean, North Carolina State's playing their best basketball, and they've got pieces. They've got pretty good pieces. I saw. How
about that DJ Daniels dude?
Who?
You mean DJ Burns? DJ Burns.
DJ Burns, rather. He's the Jack Golke of big men right now.
Well, he's got the same kind of touch that Malik Renew's got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that same kind of ability to find a way to get the ball in the basket. And if Malik puts out a few pounds, he could be that guy. But I mean, honestly,
I don't think anyone on the coaching staff's rooting for that.
I know they're not. And I'm not rooting for it either. But he's unique in that way. And to be on a
great footwork.
Right. And to be on a run like they're on, and they've got nice pieces there too. So, but I think it's going to be Purdue, UConn, and I think it's going to be an incredible ball game. I really do.
I agree with you, Don. Todd, I'm sure you do too. I mean, they're the 2 best teams that we've seen all year. Houston was up there, but like I said, they lost Jamal Sheed, boom, and they go out of dominance. These are the 2 teams that dominated people all year, and UConn is. When I was at the state finals, so we were watching the Illinois game on TV, but I was kind of busy, and I leaned over, and all of a sudden it was a 20-point bulge, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, well, Illinois couldn't have picked a worse day to play like they played yesterday. Yeah. And I mean, they shot the ball. I didn't look at the stats, but probably as bad as they shot it in any game throughout the season, which was unfortunate to be in that, get themselves to that position, and then. They just if they had shot halfway decent in the first half, they would have had a decent sized lead. I mean, they had UConn. They got UConn on the day someone was going to beat UConn. They just played worse, unfortunately. Yeah. And when you look at this is what, like, I agree with you, Don. Like, I think us old school kind of basketball people want to see that Purdue UConn game in the end because they're both kind of built pretty similarly. They both got a big guy inside. They're built the way we remember teams being built years ago. Now, the scary part is, honestly, I'm not sure UConn's going to get there. And the only reason I say that is because Alabama could beat anyone on any given night. If they shoot the ball well, I mean, when you look at their shot chart, it's the antithesis of Indiana. Like, every single shot is a three-pointer if it's not a dunk. And so, I looked up the stats. Indiana shot 513 three-pointers on the year, and Alabama shot 1,085. More than twice as many. It's just the number is staggering. Looking at their shot chart just blows your mind because it's hilarious. It's actually kind of funny. And if they get hot, I don't care what UConn does. They're not going to beat them.
You're right.
Well, I know that if they score 89 points, I think they've lost one game. Because people talk about that Kentucky game where they lost like 114 or whatever. But if they score 89 points, they've lost one game this season. So that's their goal to run you out. Don, man, it's been a great one. Look forward to the fall. I hope you enjoy your summer. Any parting words for the masses?
Well, I've been to all the football practices thus far under Kurt Signetti, and I've not been more excited in my entire Indiana career. I go to a few spring practices occasionally. I've gone to all of them so far, and I'm going to probably go to almost every one of them. I am going to Florida for 3 or 4 days here in April 6th through the 10th or something like that. So I'm going to miss a couple. I've not been more excited about Indiana football since Bill Mallory. Just saying.
Wow.
Well, that says a lot. And I
coming
think
from you, it says a lot.
Yeah. I think that there's probably more you can see the direction. You can see the much more organized, much more just, it's all geared towards success. And Signetti seems like a guy that he doesn't take failure well.
No, he does not. And watching him on the sidelines during practices is an interesting process in itself, because he stands on the sideline and he watches everything. He's watching every segment of what's going on in practices. As soon as he sees something he doesn't like, he's over there and he's saying something to him. But he basically watches. He gets in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and makes out an organizational practice schedule for each of his coaches. And then he lets them execute it. He doesn't dominate practice in any way. Other than the sense of if something he doesn't like, he's going to let them know. But he lets his coaches coach their position groups, and it's really organized. All the practices have been in the stadium, which I thought, why is he doing that? Well, I think he wants all these new players. He's got 40 new players on this football team. He wants these guys to get used to the surroundings and the facility and all those kinds of things. But he also, because he watches everything, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? And I like the way he runs his show. There's no question about that. And the guys that he's brought in skill-wise, we've never seen anything like this at Indiana. I mean, he's got quarterbacks, he's got running backs, he's got wide receivers. He's got a tight end that I love watching this kid. His name is Horton. And he is like a 6'4" kid. And I've watched him with the tight end group, and he made all of them look like they couldn't run. I mean, he's got guys, and he knows what he wants. He's got that system. He talked about his system, and we've never lost. He's never had a losing season. He talks about his system. And he's got a system, and it's as organized as anything you'll watch in college football. I'm just telling you, I'm excited.
I don't doubt you at all. Well, Don, it's going to be hard to get through the summer without you, but we look forward to.
You'll survive. You'll survive, Jimbo.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
I get to see him more in the summer, so I'm looking forward to it.
I got it. Have you been out playing golf, Todd? Because you got a tan, don't you?
I have, yeah.
You're making me mad.
It's been nice out, and I have not been to spring football practice.
Yeah, well, I've been to a lot of spring football, and I honest to God, as bad as I hit the ball when I came back and hit balls the other day, as bad as I hit the ball, I'm going to all the spring practices. I don't care about golf.
Well, let me know when you're down here. We'll go out and play when you're done.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks.
Love it.
Don Fischer, appreciate you, Bert.
See you, Joe.
Thank you, sir. The golden voice of the Indiana Hoosiers, Don Fischer, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. Todd, you're welcome to stick around unless you got some place to go.
I'm good for a little bit.
All right, gentlemen, we go live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
You guys hear me okay?
1. Yes.